All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Marcus. Today is September 7th. It is a wonderful Thursday. So let's see what this day brings here. All right, but let's see who here wants to make some money with trading. Type in a yes in the chat box. All right, good. Who here wants to make enough money with trading so that you can quit your job? All right, exactly. And who here wants to make so much money with trading that you can travel the world and live the lifestyle you always dreamed about? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I want that for you. So let's see what is happening here this morning in the markets. So first of all, yesterday the indices really had a good run. They bounced back because President Trump struck a deal with the Democrats, lifted the debt ceiling, had a hurricane relief plan for Hurricane Harvey. And so this is where the markets reacted very positively to it. This morning we're slightly up here in the market. So even the S&P up 0.11%. So Nasdaq up a little bit here, and also the Dow, but mainly trading around the unchanged mark here. Crude oil this morning, well, a little bit down 0.5%. So we'll see what happens there. Gold up 0.5%, and so is silver here. And so for those of you who are receiving the binary text alerts, we did have binary text alerts here for gold and silver. So let's see, what do we want to do today? Here's what I was doing this morning. I'll just give you a little bit behind the scenes. Do you guys like behind the scenes? You want to know what's going on behind the scenes? Okay, cool. So we have a high level mastermind, and in this high level mastermind we have a small group of trader with whom I work personally. And you see, with those we're sitting together basically once a week, and then we also do live trading. And I'm always looking, okay, what is the best way to day trade the market? So here we're doing some more advanced stuff. So this morning I was looking at crude oil, and you see, when we are trading crude oil right now, we are using our Seahawk strategy for day trading. So again, right now this morning we're doing a little bit more advanced stuff. So if you're new to trading, this might be a little bit too fast for you, but no worries. Next week in Coffee for Markets, we go back to the basics. But for those of you who are interested in some more advanced stuff, this is what we are doing. So anyhow, so for this mastermind, I always see, okay, what is the best way to approach the markets? And this is why this morning I've been trading a little bit crude oil here. So for crude oil, I've been using the Seahawk strategy, which I like a lot. And for the past few months, the way how we have been trading it is that we tried to make $60 risking $120. And again, now you might say, how does that make sense? Risking $60, making $120? Well, this particular trading strategy has an extremely high winning percentage, right? And this is why it makes a lot of sense. And so this morning I checked and just wanted to see. We have been trading it to the long side only, meaning that we only enter buy orders. And I wanted to see, is it possible right now to also trade it to the short side, to the downside here? So this is where I placed the trade this morning to the long side. It worked out. And right now I'm watching how would the trade perform if we traded it to the short side, because I always want to give you the best ways to trade. Now, what I do when I'm testing ideas, I'm not testing it on my big account. I'm trading it on a rather small account with the smallest size possible. This is how I'm testing ideas. So this is why we just have a one lot here that we are trading. And so this morning we made a quick $60. So the idea here is that we are buying as soon as the next bar opens. So here we want to buy at 48.84, and this is what the order that you see in the market. As soon as we're getting filled here, we're placing a profit target and a stop loss of 6 and 12. And again, I was looking and see if there's anything that does make sense for trading it to the short side, but it doesn't seem to be this way. It seems that trading it to the long side is still our best bet. but just wanted to make sure and double check. And you see, to the short side, it's not really doing a whole lot. If we would have traded it to the short side in July and August, we wouldn't have made any money. June was pretty good trading it to the short side, but no. I mean, this doesn't look good for me at all. I mean, I would do it personally, so I wouldn't recommend it, obviously, to anybody here. So let's go back and looking at it to the long side, because another thing that we always look at. So I just want to bring up the trading platform here so that you see it, and let me just get rid of the short trades, because the short trades, that just doesn't work out at all. And you see, don't get me wrong, I like to trade both to the long and short side, but if the markets are not made for this, then it is not. So we're just looking to trade it to the long side right now. Okay. So again, we want to see at the open of the next bar, want to go long, and this morning we already had one trade that worked out really nicely. Let's just see. I want to make sure that I'm showing it to you on the chart. You see right here, this is when this particular bar opened. Let me mark it with an arrow. When this bar opened here, we went long, and so we bought it, and then we applied a 6-tick profit target, $60, risking $120. And that's also what we are doing here right now. Now, one other thing that I like to do is look at the consecutive trade study. So what I like to see is, and I'm sliding it in here so that you can see exactly what I'm looking for. I want to see how many losing trades in a row did we have. And you see, yeah, it can happen that we have a losing trade, obviously. Now, out of 157 trades, now actually there are more. Let's see, how many trades did we have overall here? Out of 222 trades, we had 64 losses. So again, very high winning percentage. 17 times we had 2 consecutive losses. Do you see this here? Let me see if I can slide it over to make it a little bit easier. Ugh. No, I destroyed the pattern here. No, I can't move it over. Anyhow, so 17 times we had 2 consecutive losses in a row, and only 3 times we had 3 consecutive losses in a row. So this is why we like to double up after a losing trade. Making sense? Because if you have a losing trade, look at this. Usually the winning percentage is around 73%. But after a losing trade, it jumps up to 82%. So we put the probability here in our corner, and this is why I like to double up after a losing trade. Making sense? To me, it makes a lot of sense, right? So this is why we are also this is how we trade our accounts live. And when I say we, I mean Mark Hodge, my head coach here, and I. So that's how we look at the accounts. We also like to trade the E-mini S&P. This morning I was mainly focusing on crude oil because, again, I wanted to see if we can trade it to the short side. And it's pretty interesting what triggered it. You see, one of our mastermind students, she contacted me and say, you know what, I saw a video that you recorded in 2010 and you were trading the markets both sides, and this was pretty awesome. I said, yeah, well, in 2010 this was possible. It seems that right now it is definitely better to trade it to the long side. I mean, you have seen the equity curve. It looks ugly if you trade it to the short side. So long side only looks much better. Let me also show you how this looks like if we're doing it to the upside only, to the long side only. And I want to show you when we do that. Okay, hold on. When we're doing this, it doesn't want to pull up right now. Anyhow, to the long side, it does look much, much better. And this is why at this point, we're trading it to the long side only. Okay, So let's see if maybe we get another trade here. I'll also keep an eye on the E-mini S&P and the Nasdaq here because we might get two more binary signals here. And for those who are wondering yesterday, oh yes, the gold trade that we did in the binaries, that was a losing trade. So that didn't work out too well. But again, I mean, in German we say one swallow doesn't make a summer. I don't know if this makes sense to you guys here in English. It just means that hey, you can't judge after one trade, right? So I mean, binaries have been really good this year. Again, if you have traded since the beginning of the year, you would have doubled your account with binary options. And again, I'm right now keeping an eye on the mini S&P and on the Nasdaq to make sure that if we're moving here above our trigger point, that I'm issuing an alert for you. Makes sense? All right, so the markets are open. The indices are still marching up. We also crude oil here, so we were getting really close. Oh, look at this. Crude oil starts to take off here right now. All right, that is definitely interesting. And now it starts to come down. So wanted to see at 48.99. This is where I want to place a trade. Wow, market here is fast and furious. Oops, good, I got filled. Now again, if this trade is a losing trade, then I want to trade a two lot here, right? So after a losing trade, because our chances are higher that now we have a winning trade again. So this is why I have my profit target and stop loss in the market. And as you can see, I mean, crude oil just made a very, very quick jump. So right now I am long because at the open of the next bar, that's what we want to do. Okay, at the open of the next bar. So I got in there. Right now the trade is underwater. So earlier made $60. Right now, oh, crude oil is really moving this morning here. I wonder if there's some news regarding the hurricane. Okay, got to get rid of this. Okay, so now I'm trading two contracts, right? And I will keep trading two contracts because, again, after a loss, there's a very high probability that now we have a winning trade. So let's see how this trade turns out. So right now we had one winning trade, one losing trade, meaning that I made $60 on the first trade, lost $120 on the second trade. And again, I'm right now trading it with the smallest account or smallest size possible, which is a one lot, because again, I'm testing here something for our mastermind candidates. Okay, so let's see. I have my profit target and stop loss in the market, and this is my next entry. Now, the strategy that I'm trading here is the Seahawk strategy. So for those of you who have access to the Rockwell Trading Club, look it up. I mean, the video is just, it's probably just only 30 minutes long, explaining the exact rules of the strategy. So if you're interested in knowing exactly how the strategy works and you say, you know what, this is pretty cool, I want to do that too, go ahead, just go into the Rockwell Trading Club, look at the Seahawk strategy, and you'll see the exact rules. For those of you who say, oh my gosh, this looks horrible, it's not my way to trade. Hey, no worries. I mean, there's many ways to trade the markets. There's not only one way to make money in the markets, or to lose money in the markets for that matter, right? I mean, yeah, losses are part of our business. There are so many ways to trade the markets. And if this, what we are doing here right now, is not your piece of cake, no worries about this at all. I mean, this is a strategy that has worked really, really well pretty much all year. And this is why I like trading it. And this is why also I'm recommending this to our mastermind members and pretty much everybody who likes to day trade here. So let's see. What we should do is, if this trade works out, okay, so let's just take this order off because the next bar here would now open at 75. Okay, there we go. We're filled. So as you can see, we now had a winning trade, we had a losing trade, we had another winning trade, and we're again up $60, right? So again, after a losing trade, there's a very high probability that there's a winning trade. So now I'm going back to a one lot trade because we just had a winning trade. So good for us. And this is how the simple strategy works. No, that's not the simple strategy. That's the Seahawk strategy. right? So again, 3 trades. The first trade was a winning trade. The second trade was a losing trade. Since the second trade was a losing trade, this is when we doubled up and had another winning trade. And so this is why we're still up $60 for the day. All right. So for those of you who are watching the recording, I will stop the recording right now. And for those of you who are live here, I'll see if I can answer a few questions for you. And well, for those of you, again, who are watching the recording, be here live with us. So we're trading live, as you can see. It's pretty cool. So join us live, and I will make sure that then I can also answer your questions. All right, cool.